Good morning. How are you? So, in the idea of how to have a magical life when life doesn't seem very magical, there's the idea of setting intention. If you set an intention every morning before you go out the door to go to work to start your day, this will help. This will help you in the establishment of a magical vibration and to hold on to your vibration. In the case that you might be going to a job that kind of works against that energy, the magical vibration. So, one of the ways that you can set an intention in the morning is by doing a divination. Now, don't think of a tarot reading where you go and the person spends an hour with you laying out 11 cards and reading the cards for you. Let's think of something more along the lines of what would you call it? Devotion, a devotional moment. So it's going to be a moment. It's not going to be a half hour. It's not going to be an hour. It's going to be a moment. And you can do this very quickly and then be out the door to start your day. So, one of the divinations that we like a whole lot in my house is the runes. The runes come from the Norse Germanic tradition, and there's a whole mythology there about Odin hanging upside down on the tree and seeing these runes in on the ground below. Um, so this is kind of a cool divination, and so what you will have typically is a bag with I have stones. I have stones. My husband has a bag with white tiles in them. So you will need a book. Okay, so this is the book that we use, the Runecaster's Handbook by Edward Thorson. Um, you don't have to have a book. You don't have to have runes. You can draw the symbols on little pieces of paper, fold them into fourths, and put them in a bowl or a container, whatever you might have. And you can look the meanings up on the internet. Now, if you look it up on the internet, look up the meaning for the Elder Futhark. Okay, that's a good version of the rune definitions. And I've heard lots of people say, okay, I don't want to do a reading for myself because I'm biased. That's okay. It's okay to be biased. Divination is a way to allow your others to communicate with you, allow spirit to kind of set the tone for your day. And if you are feeling biased, there's a very good chance that what you're feeling is the definition or the meaning. You're going to have a definition of a rune symbol, but you're also going to have a feeling that goes with that definition. So let me just give an example here. So what I pulled this morning is Ehwaz. I say Ehwaz. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation of this rune, but I love this rune. The book says that this is the vertical axis. This is the vertical axis between heaven and earth. So you notice how there's a little hook at the top and there's a little hook at the bottom. This is the vertical axis that grabs a hold of heaven and grabs a hold of earth and brings them together. What a cool idea. What a cool idea of creating heaven here on earth. That's got to be the definition of a magical life, creating heaven here on earth. So this is how I'm going to set the intention for my day. I'm going to hold the vibration of creating heaven here on earth, of bringing the two dimensions together, the earthly dimension and the heavenly dimension, and bringing those together. Now, when I do this rune in the morning, when I do a rune, this morning I did this rune, I may not know exactly what that means. I may not know exactly what the definition of this rune is. But that's how we set our intention throughout the day as we think about it. When you have a moment that you don't have to focus 100% on what you're doing in front of you at your job, when you have a moment where you can kind of just disengage your mind, you can think about the rune that you pulled that morning. You can think about the definition of the rune that you pulled that morning, the definition that came off the internet or came out of a book. And then stop and think about how the definition of that rune applies to your life. How does that apply to your life? In this case, Ehwaz applies to my life because I am always looking for ways to make my life more magical, make my life more heavenly, make my life more what I want it to be. Okay, so there's a little bit of bias there, and that's okay. When you're trying to figure out how your rune that you pulled that morning has anything to do with your life, how it applies to your life. And you don't just have to do runes. There's a myriad of divinations out there in the world. You can do tarot. Tarot gets a little cumbersome when you're doing a pull like this. You're just going to do one card, and you have the entire tarot deck. So sometimes what a good thing to do is, when you're doing a tarot devotion on that morning, is to separate out the major arcana and just use the major arcana to set your intention with that morning. And then we have OM sticks. I'm Irish, and so our system of divination is the OM sticks. Again, I have a book. I have an OM book by this author, by Edred Thorson. I like Edred Thorson because he is very archaeological, very he does a lot of research. He doesn't just make up stuff. He goes back into the studies, the archaeology, and the different stuff, and derives definitions by that manner. So I use his book for my OM pulls, and I made my own OM sticks. I cut dowels and burned into them. Some people go out and find twigs laying on the ground, and they cut them into the appropriate size. And you don't have to do that. You can buy OM sticks online if you don't want to make your own. But this is just a very nice, simple way to set an intention for the day. So that's my little thing for today. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.